Hey there, this is Charlie from ProductiveFlourishing.com, and today we're going to talk about the unspoken economics of the mega launch strategy. Now, I've been wanting to do recording for a long time, and I had the genius idea of getting this huge whiteboard, but then I put it across from a very well lit window, so you get a lot of glare. So we're going to go a little bit rougher, but we're going to get it out today. So I want to give a heads up to Pam Slim for, go ahead and putting it out there rough and dirty, and reminding me to do the same. So, okay. In the internet world, we talk a lot about launches, and launches are a really big deal because they bring in a lot of revenue. But what we often don't talk about is the economics behind this mega launch strategy. Now, there's product launch formula, there's all sorts of other formulas that you know of and that you may have seen but don't know that it's an actual formula. If you've been in the biz for a while, you know within the first 3 or 4 lines, okay, it's that formula all over again. So we'll talk about that another day. We'll just talk about the mega launch strategy and really the hidden economics of it. So if you look at this board, what we have here is on the y-axis we have revenue, the money that you're bringing in, and we have time on the bottom axis. The mega launch strategy is such that you come in and you have this huge product launch which brings in a lot of money, but almost every time there's this sudden drop in revenue because that's all you got. All you got is the product and the launch. You don't have a whole lot of the business under the business. So in the meantime, what you have to do is build the list and live off the money you made and all that kind of stuff. So, and about the time you get the list ready to go and you start getting low on money, whoop, you got to do another launch. Boom. So you go up and it starts all over again. And you see this cyclical pattern in these businesses. Now, what we have to remember here is that this really favors salespeople. This really favors, if we go back to the connector maven salesperson thing that Pam and I talk about a lot, is from Malcolm Gladwell, right? This really favors the salespeople, the people who love the sell, who love the story, who love the theater. It really benefits them. Everybody else, not so much. Because here's what happens, right? Next slide, please. The expectation is that with each launch, you're going to go up. So you got the same axis and the same falling down flip chart and revenue, and there's a positive delta going up. So every launch you get bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, that's the expected path for this, and that's what people hope will happen. However, that's not always what happens, and it gets ugly when it doesn't happen. Next slide, please. Alrighty, so what sometimes happens is that you'll have a launch and it'll go really well, but then you'll have these little launches that don't go well, that don't bring in more money than the last launch, or that don't bring any money at all. Now, this is a big problem for businesses that really start with this whole product launch strategy as the way that they're going to run business, because if these launches suck, where's your money? How you going to keep your business going? This causes a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress, and it also transmutes to the audiences of the people who are going through these problems. Wow, we're keeping it real today. One second. That was actually Pam Slim. Hi, Pam. So, it's predicated on the product launch formula is predicated on, actually I can't say product launch formula because that's a trademarked thing, so the internet mega launch is predicated on successive successes from those launches. And if it doesn't happen, then there's a real big problem that happens with businesses that try to use that strategy. Now I'm going to pause here and just put it out there. The people selling these programs are making a killing, and they're also cherry-picking testimonials from the people who have done well. Now, it's very hard to tell with so many people buying the programs and so many people using them what the actual success rate is. And, it's really easy to get some smoke and mirror stuff going on. So, because it's working for them, doesn't mean it's working for you, because some of these people have been doing this for 6 to 10 years and they have massive lists so that when they do a launch, they generate millions of dollars or millions and millions of dollars And their cycles can ride out for a long time so that they can go, rock climbing and whatever else they do throughout the months that they're not launching something. Keep in mind that those results are not typical. Just going to put it out there. Now, there is an alternative strategy here. And it favors mavens and it favors connectors. It's the launch and build strategy. I won't go into it a whole lot because I'm already running at nearly 6 minutes and that's pushing it for video. So the whole idea is you have some foundation, you do launch something, you do release something and put it out there, but then you build and you really wrap it into the business. You really wrap it into how you do things. Maybe you promote it and put some passive marketing going on. Maybe you go on a tour or something like that to where that's the main product. Maybe you're a speaker and you got some backup sales thing going on with this product that you launched 2 years ago. And you see this ever incremental increase. And sometimes there's a dip, right? Because that just happens to a business. But you don't see that massive trough that you're used to seeing in the product launch strategy framework. So I also want to add here that it is completely possible to combine the mega launch with the launch and build. You have to recognize that after the launch, after the party, after you get all that money, you've got some work to do. You got to put those you got to take that product or that offer and put it back into your business funnel. You got to figure out how you're going to market that over the long term, and you got to make something that's both evergreen but really speaks to people where they are now. That's hard to do. It's really hard to do. It's a lot easier to speak to a trend or to speak to something that's hot right now, sell it while it's hot, and move on. It's much harder to make something that's both evergreen and always speaks to where people are. So that's the hidden economics of the product launch strategy. I hope you found it useful, found a few ahas, and thanks for watching.